Hey, Bree.
Hey, Sandy.
How you feeling today?
Feeling good, ready to use my vocal cords.
Oh, Lord. Okay, go ahead and
Mm.
introduce it. Go ahead, do it.
Ooh, the little angel. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Welcome back to the
Uh-huh.
girl. She did
Uh-huh.
that.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, welcome back. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. That was okay.
Hey,
Oh.
in
All
practice.
right, y'all. Well, welcome back to Girl. She Did That podcast. With Bree and Sandy. Ew. All right, Bree. Well, before we get into today's topic, who are we honoring today?
So today we are going to be honoring Ashanti,
Okay, Shanti.
which
Oh,
I'm really
baby. Oh, baby.
I love you, baby. Baby, 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 baby. You know what I'm saying? Baby, I love you. You know what I'm
uh-uh,
saying?
uh-uh.
What?
Bro, you can't sing all the lines. You can't.
What?
What? You singing all the lines? You singing the ad
Yeah.
libs too? Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. One woman show here. Okay. All
I
right.
thought it was girl. She did that.
It is, girl. Girl, she
She
did
that.
that.
Exactly. Girl, what?
Okay, go ahead.
So, honoring Ashanti, congratulations on her baby, on her
Yes.
engagement slash marriage. I don't know which one has been confirmed, but we've made progress.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she is an example of people. Well, Nelly and her are both example of people who just need a little time
Yep.
to get it together on both parties,
Mm-hmm.
and come back together and really make something happen. Some of the things that you weren't, the expectations you had when you were younger are not the expectations that you have in your 30s and 40s. So I think that, seeing them come back together, I was super excited about it.
Yeah.
So shout out to her for, going through her process and at the end still getting all the things that she wanted
Yes. In her own time.
in her own
Love
time.
it. I love it. I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout
So
out to Ashanti
Ashanti,
girl.
Ashanti, you did that, girl.
Girl,
I
you
mean, you ain't Nelly,
did
but
that.
girl, you did it. I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay,
Add that
okay.
in.
Okay, okay. All right, what you drinking on today? What you drinking? What you drinking? What you drinking? What you drinking?
The same as always, a little Cabernet.
You sticking to this
Not little.
little
Not
Cabernet.
little. Ain't nothing I do little.
Oh,
This might
oh,
be a little
oh, oh,
cup.
oh, 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 oh,
This might be a little cup.
oh. Okay.
But
Uh,
ain't nothing about me little.
okay. Uh-uh. First of all, you ain't. What you doing with that? What's happening with that?
What?
And it's not a braid. It's not a no. No, like y'all. When Bianca's hair is long, she like to whip it back. I can't stand it.
Okay.
I can't stand it. She's so
Because
dramatic.
it's just in the way and I have to
It,
make sure.
it's the dramatics for me. I can't. I can't with you. I can't.
Yes.
I can't.
What are you drinking?
Um. Well, I'm drinking
Why it sound like
Hennessy.
a sad story? Just talking about the drink.
I'm drinking Hennessy with
Hey.
some strawberry lemonade. I officially started my vacation from work, so I feel like I can decompress a little bit here.
Yeah.
So just a little Henny with a little strawberry lemonade.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sounds delicious.
It is. It is.
So what are we going to be talking about today?
Oh, well, funny story.
Yes.
So my lovely husband,
Mm-hmm. Mommy.
and man, I can't stand. Oh, you ever watch Love After Lockup? Let me talk about this for a minute. Love After Lockup.
No, I don't, but I know
Okay,
you
so I love After Like It's my favorite show. I know it shouldn't be, but it's my guilty pleasure. Anyway, it's the girl on there from this last season. And she's like, my man comes home. My man. I can't stand it. It bothers me so bad. But anyway, so my husband, I was sitting here, we was trying to figure out, what we're gonna talk about and all that. He was like, well, y'all should talk about overcoming adversity. Okay, so that's what we're talking about today. Shout out to that husband for the topic today. The husband. That husband, he don't want me to call him the husband because reminds me of the father.
Exactly. I was just like, no. No.
So shout out to that husband. My
Okay.
husband. Okay. So let's get into it. Overcoming adversity.
So first, let's define adversity.
She about to take y'all to school.
Since I have the of course. Okay.
She about to take y'all to school because she got degrees on degrees.
Okay. And we didn't tell y'all we had degrees for nothing. Okay. Poor lady. Connect.
Go ahead with the definition.
Okay. Oh, gotta do it again. All right.
You don't have no hair over there. What did you do?
It's all right.
Oh, okay. It's not okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Earring too.
Imaginary. Okay.
Anyways, so adversity is a state or instance of serious or continued difficulty or misfortune.
Okay.
That's all right. Mm-hmm. And I also have the definition of overcoming adversity.
All right.
I'm going to break down both. But
okay.
I'm going to give you a definition. Taking an honest look at your own knowledge and skills, acknowledging your shortcoming, and working on improving them every day.
Okay. What's your definition? Okay. So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about the definitions of that?
So I think that with also doing a little bit of the research about adversity, I think that we discovered that there's six different levels of, well, not necessarily levels, but components of adversity. So there's just different areas. So it could be mental, physical, financial. That's 3. Y'all know the other 3. All the components.
Not all the components. What?
Yeah, no, it's financial. All the aspects of your life. Mental, physical, spiritual, financial,
emotional.
Okay. What more we're missing?
I don't know, but okay. I believe you. I trust you.
Correct. I read it to you earlier. I didn't write it down. That's my bad. Don't leave me out there like that. Adversity. That's got you. Difficulty. Anyways. But yeah, so when I think about adversity, I think about just the difficult things that we go through on a day-to-day basis and how we go through them and the ways that we go through them. I just feel like it's kind of like you use what you got to get through situations. And it may not always be the healthiest, but it's a way, right? So, I think about adversity when it comes to, being a Black woman or being a woman in general, but, really, more important of being a Black woman, the adversities of, our workplaces. I think about, the list of financial or, the mental health, all those different things that people go through when it comes to adversity, and then how when we've gone through it, what that looks like as well.
Sure.
Like sometimes people don't come out of those situations in the best of shape. So that's my thoughts.
So sticking to adversity as far as like Black women, what do you think some of your adverse experiences have been in regards to being Black and a woman? The fact that you just threw this piece on up, like
whatever, quick.
Oh my God.
I think that with being a Black woman, it's just so many different components when it comes to adversity. I think that, you know, in the workplace, I think that people assume that you can deal with a lot more because of the way that Black women are described in general, as far as us being strong and things of that nature, um, getting paid differently, the way that people interact with you.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to like mental or, you know, emotional, when it comes to like dating, like sometimes, you know, having certain expectations as a woman and having to explain your lifestyle that may be different than what men may traditionally want in a woman. Those adversities, you know, fighting for our rights for birth, that's an adversity.
For sure.
You know, fighting to, you know, at this point, keeping contraceptives as far as like whether you have the choice of having a baby or not, you know, having more
Mm-hmm.
control over our bodies, the autonomy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, there's so many different things as a Black woman, I feel like, you know, or even with as far as birth rates, our pain level, you
Yeah.
know, people assuming that we can tolerate more pain for some
Mm-hmm.
strange odd reason. And even if that is true, that doesn't mean that if a woman says that, hey, this is a lot for me, that you're like, oh, well, because you're Black, you should be fine. Like it
Right.
should be taken seriously across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and whether that's physical or emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, so just those are just the things that I think of when I think about adversities as a Black woman. Just a few of those things.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the things I think about when it comes to adversity and Black women, I think about us being labeled like
Mm-hmm.
the angry Black woman, or she's mean. Emphasis on the mean.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she, you know, I feel as though at times you kind of damn if you do, you damn if you don't. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you use assertive communication, then it's seen as aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you are passive, it's seen as aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
So really, either way you go, you really don't have a choice in how you're perceived because of this ongoing stereotype, right? That's kind of been created. I think for me, that's one of the things I probably struggle with the most in the workplace as far as adversity goes. But I try to stay focused on remembering that each opportunity that I get to interact with somebody is an opportunity to change that stereotype. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that feels like a burden, you know, that I always have to present myself in a way that I'm going to be heard, right? And understood. Because most
Mm-hmm.
of the times I'm always explaining.
Mm-hmm.
I even find myself including literature and emails about how somebody has used a microaggression against me, right? Or how, you know, I've perceived they may have experienced me, you know, just to provide that extra level of communication. So I don't know. I feel like it's a lot that goes into that.
It's exhausting.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. For sure. So it definitely adds an extra layer of um I don't know, adversity.
Mm-hmm.
You already got to get up and go to work. You know what I'm saying? Now you
Mm-hmm.
got to get up and go to work and deal with a whole bunch of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know, but I think that's where self care comes in.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people who do experience not just adversity in the workplace, but just adversity or obstacles in general, that sometimes they don't know how to take care of themselves in the midst of or after, and so they struggle with, you know, symptoms of depression and anxiety. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we talk about that enough either, that
Mm-hmm.
when obstacles occur or adversity occurs, we don't know how to deal with the anxiety or the depression of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we go to those negative coping skills like drinking, you know, smoking, having a lot of sex, all types of different things. I don't know. But what do you think?
Um, I think that when it comes to, I remember you asked the question before. You were saying that, what was the question that you had asked before we got on here? It was something about
Oh, is it about
self love.
self-esteem? Oh,
Self.
self-love.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think the question was, do you think people who go through adversity have self-love?
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So I think that correlating that to what you just said as far as self care as well. I think that when it comes to adversity, I think that it's at times it could go into fight or flight, or what resources or skills you already have. Like in the definition it says the knowledge and the skills that you have, and you're using those things to get through something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you're in a thought process of, let me just get through this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, okay, well, I'll just figure everything else out at the end. I just need to get through this. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that once you get through it, you're then overwhelmed with the emotional impact of what just happened.
Right.
So, like, for example, if you have a friend that ends up being ends up replacing you with a new friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you're just trying to get through, like, okay, so what do I do without this friend? Like, this is the difficulty. Like, was my best friend, and now this is no longer my best friend anymore.
Right.
And you're like, okay, well, you're just like, okay, well, let's have the conversation. The conversation is still feeling the same as far as like, okay, we're not going to be friends at this end. You're now having to deal with the aftermath of trying to get through that difficult relationship, or that difficult choice that you had to make as far as moving forward without that person. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to deal with the betrayal, the disappointment, the frustration, the confusion,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, and probably a little bit of like depression.
Sure.
And so, and probably many other things. But all that to say that you're not thinking about all of those emotions in the midst of the storm. You're
Mm-hmm.
just trying to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's where the self-love comes in, is that if you have more self-love and you're able to have the emotional intelligence to have the understanding of your situation, and knowing that it's much more complicated than those temporary emotions. It's more
Mm-hmm.
so like, okay, how do I deal with these emotions? How do I get them out? And what's the solution, even when it
Sure.
comes to that? So it's like there's a second layer to the aftermath of
Mm-hmm.
adversity.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Emotional intelligence
Yeah.
degree, putting that degree to work, which some people don't have emotional
Mm-hmm.
intelligence because they don't know how to deal with their emotions on top of managing other people's emotions,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which causes us to have to find a DSM diagnosis, right? I mean, if you think about it, what?
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm agreeing. Like, I'm just thinking about the DSM.
I mean, like you say, at some point we're all in there,
Oh, for sure.
right? Is these symptoms impairing your life so much that you cannot function at
Mm-hmm.
work, at school, in life?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Or
yeah,
sometimes, or sometimes, with not doing the aftercare, which is the self care,
right.
you can find yourself back in the same adversity.
Uh, Say that. Now that's a word right there. That's a word.
You
That's a
know,
word.
so again, using the same example, you get a new friend, and then like that friend don't want to be with you, your
Sure.
friend no more. Then you get
Right.
another friend, that friend don't want to be with you. Like there's something that you have to reevaluate, being like, okay, well, why do I keep on having failed friendships?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it still is not to say that those people did not contribute in a way for there to be a lesson learned, but you are the creator of your story.
Right.
So you're clearly writing something that you don't like the end of the results. So, getting through it is fine, but
Mm-hmm.
it's about the aftercare to the aftermath.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I think that sometimes people find themselves in a cycle of
Yep.
like continuing to do the same thing over and over and over again. And if you continue to blame outside sources, aka lack of accountability,
Ooh.
then
Ooh, you hit.
then you find yourself back in that same cycle. And so you either settle for the cycle, thinking like, okay, well, I already know what's going to happen. I already know what this person's going to do. I already know this, know this, know this. Or you're going to try to figure out a way to get out of that cycle.
Mm.
So
That accountability piece, though, is that so many people don't want to be held accountable,
mm-hmm,
right, for their actions or for the things that they do.
mm-hmm,
Right? They are not open to feedback in adversity,
mm-hmm,
right? Because a part of going through adversity, even in psychology field, you're supposed to consult, right?
mm-hmm,
You're supposed
mm-hmm,
to ask questions and make sure you're making the best informed decision. But
mm-hmm,
a lot of people don't like feedback.
mm-hmm,
They want to do what they want to do when they get ready to do it. And that's cool, right?
mm-hmm,
But there's going to be consequences to that.
mm-hmm.
So how do we as people like hold each other accountable for the things that we say and we do?
I I think that when it comes to accountability, I think that people have to stop thinking of accountability as a form of punishment.
Ooh, that's good. Mm-hmm.
I think that you have to understand that people have the autonomy, the ability to make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you've hurt somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hurt their feelings, you taking accountability doesn't make you a bad person or you should be nailed to the cross.
Mm-hmm.
What you're doing as a person who is taking accountability is that you are acknowledging that you hurt somebody, whether
Mm-hmm.
that was intentional or unintentional, and you are basically trying to rectify a situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that oftentimes we think of accountability of saying like I'm wrong and I should be punished.
Right.
When in all actuality is not necessarily. Now punishment may come depending on the situation. I'm not saying that whatever I'm saying is 100% like, oh yeah, when you take accountability, you don't receive punishment.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that oftentimes people feel like, oh, I didn't do anything wrong, so I don't need to take accountability.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more so about acknowledging how you made somebody feel
Mm-hmm.
versus just the action that was done. So when you lessen your pride and ego, then you'll increase your
Mm-hmm.
accountability.
Mm-hmm.
That correlates a lot to people owning up to the things that they do. And I think that, also when it comes to accountability, when you don't take accountability, it's like a ball. And it's
Yeah.
like you're passing it to someone else to say, hey, you take accountability for it because I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And just imagine being the person that's hurt and somebody telling you, you just got to take that because I'm not going to take it.
Right.
Even though I am the reason why we're having this conversation, I'm not going to take that responsibility, take that burden. And it just becomes unfair. And when someone feels like they're in a relationship or a friendship, whatever the case may be, where a person lacks accountability, they end up slowly but surely chipping away at them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the relationship ends up being destroyed. And people are
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I don't know how we got here. I can tell you exactly how we got here, but it
Right.
would take accountability,
Ability. Right. Yep. Yep.
So it's like you said earlier, damn if you do, damn if you don't type of situation when people don't take accountability. So
Yeah.
I think that, and also when you also what I've noticed when taking accountability, it kind of shortens the argument or the disagreement.
Yeah.
Like if I'm like, you know what, I didn't know that you felt that way, or I didn't know that what I said harmed you like that. I apologize. now that I know that that has harmed you, I'm not gonna do that again
Mm-hmm.
in a
Mm-hmm.
conversation.
Right.
That's it. Like
Not
what?
in the
Like yeah.
comments.
Like I mean, how much are you going to say back, or how? You know what I'm saying? Like if you get angry, you're just like at this point trying to make nothing out of something.
Right.
You know, it's not. It's just like people just want to be validated,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and knowing that you're like, oh, okay, like seek understanding so that you know what you did to harm that person,
Right.
versus you're being so stuck on, oh well, yeah, like I did that, but you did. Like we're gonna get to
Right.
what you did. We're gonna get there.
Right.
But right now, like you know what I'm saying. But like right now, your piece is bigger. We
Right.
need to deal with the bigger piece.
Right. Right.
So I know I kind of went on a rant, but yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. You the owner of the podcast, so you can rant all you want.
Uh, you know.
Speaking of
Here.
though, speaking of rants, no, I'm just playing.
Huh?
So no, but thinking about overcoming adversity, I think we both have been through some form of adversity. How do you think you were able to overcome your own adversity?
I do a lot of self-reflection. Like a lot of self-reflection, a lot of also talking out things. Like even though like we'll be on the phone and I might be upset about something, and I've done the work to work on my ego and my pride when it comes to feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that has made me a greater person tremendously
Mm-hmm.
because of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now able to pass that torch to other people. Like, hey, like if you would just calm down your ego a little bit, you could see the situation for what it is
Mm-hmm.
versus what you want it to be. So I think that that has helped me a lot when it comes to adversity, and also being a woman who always wants to know why.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you feeling that way? Or, why did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
What state of mind were you in that you said that to me or did that to me? So, I've always wanted to seek understanding because I want that to be given, I want that to be extended to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not going to always say the right things all the time or do the right things all the time. I want that grace and understanding for me. So I do my best to extend it to others. So that's how I get through adversity
Okay.
when I'm on the
Good.
other side.
Okay. Okay.
What
Look
about
at
you?
you. Let me see. I'm rough around the edges. First of all, don't drink that. Don't drink that glass like that. Don't do that. Don't. Don't you do
You ain't supposed
that.
to do stuff like that. No,
Nah, don't do that. I
but I
think for
did.
me, adversity in my life started very early, so I ain't had
Mm-hmm.
no choice but to like have to bounce back quickly. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like just growing up, like I didn't have a choice. I was an adult at like 10. Like I just had to figure it out. And as I have gotten older, I cannot just cut folks off. Like, you do something to me, I'm done with you, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm, like I said, I'm getting older, I've learned a lot about grace in
Mm-hmm.
adversity, giving myself grace to feel the feelings I need to feel, because I will never allow myself to do that. Because I just want to get through it and move on to the next thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes that has been a downfall for me because I have missed blessings in that. And so for me is being able to slow down, think about how I'm going to address the matter or the adversity, move through the adversity with grace,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and then use it to help somebody else. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. I think that's the process for me because I have grown a lot, pat myself on the back, evolution, growth. First of all, the fact that you're shaking your head is
Hey, I can't shake
wild.
my head.
I mean, I think you know. I
It's my
mean,
head.
I mean, you know, 20, 24-year-old Sandy and 30 something blank 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 Sandy is completely different. When you say
Let's get back to 30 something.
no
You don't know how old
blank
you are?
blank blank blank
No. Oh.
blank 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 to the blank.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I mean, I'm not as grown as you where you can just put your age, just
Oh, okay.
I ain't
Girl.
as grown as you. Not yet.
Okay,
I ain't
girl.
there yet. I ain't there yet. Maybe
It
in a
is
couple
what it
months.
is.
Maybe in a couple months. Yeah, yeah. But like I said,
Oh,
30 blank 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 to the blank.
yeah. I think that also, like, to your point, when it comes to like wanting to go to the next step, like making, I think that with adversity, with dealing with that, also making space for yourself. I think that's essentially what we're
Mm,
talking about. It's like making space for yourself and other people when it comes to um adversity. Like,
mm-hmm.
because you may not go through adversity by yourself, you may go through adversity with someone else too,
Sure.
and they may deal with it differently than you.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, they may deal with certain situations just totally different, or view it totally different because of
Mm-hmm.
the lack of knowledge or the lack of understanding of a situation. So, or age or maturity. Like, there's just so many things that contributes to what we're talking about. But I think that, people don't oftentimes make space for people, even when they hurt you. They
Yeah.
still deserve space.
Yeah. I
So,
I was looking at a video from Tabitha Brown's husband.
mm-hmm,
He was talking about so early in their marriage, her mother passed away when they were very, very young.
mm-hmm,
And he talked about how he did not show up for her the way that he should have because he didn't know how to. you
mm-hmm,
know, and as their marriage went on, he definitely said that, she forgave him, but he still has this sense of feeling bad, right?
mm-hmm,
And when you were talking, it made me immediately think he was young, had never been through grief, as a black man, probably don't know how to show his emotions. So just showing none was
mm-hmm,
probably the most appropriate thing. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
And I think you're right. I think it's so many factors that contribute to when you go through adversity, how you get through the adversity. So
And also to add on, like, Tabitha could have been like, "Oh, he didn't show up for me. Forget him.
exactly.
Forget him." Like,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of your age or what you've gone through or what you've lost or whatever the case may be. Like, I lost my mom, so it's
Mm-hmm.
like my support system should drop everything and do whatever that needs to be done for me.
Right.
So
Right.
that's going towards, me saying that, giving space to people who've even done you wrong.
Mm,
Because if she would have never gave him that space, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that Tabitha Brown would not be happy, but it possibly wouldn't have been with Chance.
right.
So, you know, so that's the benefit of giving people space in the midst of adversity.
Shout out to Tabitha Brown, because girl, you did that
Yeah,
for
she did.
allowing your husband space,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even when he didn't know how to serve you, you knew how
Mm-hmm.
to serve him.
Correct.
That that's a word right there.
That's a word right
That's a
there.
word. Girl, you did that. You taught me
Yeah.
something.
Okay.
You
And
taught me
that
something
speaks.
and him. Mm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So I think that, just extending, that grace to people. And again, we don't know Tabitha personally, but I'm sure
No,
that she
but I want
probably
to know
would.
her. Hey, Miss Brown, girl, we want to, girl, put us on your show. Okay. Very good Mondays. Very good
Good man.
Monday. I love very good Mondays. Okay, sorry. Girl, put
But
us on, girl.
I
Okay.
think I think
You got to speak it. Speak into existence.
listen,
Speak into existence. We want to be
listen.
on Essence too, y'all. Invite us for
Yeah.
Essence. Invite us for Essence. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
But I think that speaks to her character,
Yeah.
So I think that adversity, I think that we definitely, it's I'm looking right here right now, the misfortune of it.
Mm. Okay,
you
Miss
know,
Fortune. Mm-hmm. Mm.
this portion of it. But yeah.
Well, as we wrap up, great show. Okay, that was a good topic. Shout out to that husband.
Dead husband.
That husband. All right, Brie, you gotta do your part now. You know.
Okay, so remember,
Mm-hmm.
guys, as always, follow
Mm-hmm.
us on all of our social media sites, YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook,
Yeah.
and TikTok.
TikTok.
And as always, y'all can follow us on all of the podcast streaming, Apple, Spotify, Samsung, your son, my son, they son,
Pandora.
iHeart, Pandora.
Brie, them other places don't even
They
exist.
don't. But I knew that before I said it.
I thought.
Um but yeah, Pandora, iHeart, whatever that you listen to your podcast on, we are on it. And if not, go to the ones we just listed. So so as always, it's always been a pleasure, and until the next episode.
Next episode. Bye.
Bye.